Yo, what is up, everybody? Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk coming at you with another episode. Man, I've been slammed the last couple weeks. It's a reason why I haven't put out another episode. Almost 3 weeks actually, but a lot of big things coming from the podcast. I've done a couple of guest spots. Haven't been able to throw anything originally on my own, but keep a look on my TikTok and YouTube channel because I do a lot of these short takes that I put out there. You know what I mean? But anyways, I wanted to come at you and jump on the podcast to give you my take on Kevin Durant staying put in New Jersey. After all the saga, after everything that's been going on, after free agency went wild, and then everybody went paused. Everybody just halted. Everybody just put on the brakes as soon as Kevin Durant came out and said that he needs to get traded. He doesn't want to be with New Jersey any longer. Therefore, everybody was like, "Holy crap! What are we gonna do, man? We need to stop. We need to stop the world because we all got to get in this whole Kevin Durant, you know, been here, man. This whole Kevin Durant deal. We all gotta see what's gonna happen in this whole Kevin Durant drama that's going on. What's funny is that knowing that Kevin Durant is under a contract, a 4-year contract extension that he signed last summer, and remember, he signed with the Nets in 2019 as a free agent. So he's locked down by the Nets. And Kevin Durant can say that he wants to get traded all he wants, and the Nets can entertain that. And if you go back to my free agent episodes, I said that the Kevin Durant can get traded, and there's teams out there that want him. And there's teams that he fits, and there's teams that could use him. But at the end of the day, is not what Kevin Durant wants. Is what the Nets can get for Kevin Durant. And let me tell you something, boys and girls. As I mentioned earlier, the fact that when Rudy Gobert was moved for 4 first-round picks and all those players, what the hell did you think the Nets are willing to take for Kevin Durant? The Nets have all the leverage. Durant is under long-term contract. It's not like he's signing a 2-year contract with a 1-year option or a 1-year deal with a 1-year option, like like LeBron James has been doing for like the past 6 contracts since he's been with the Lakers. I'm sorry, he's been with the Cleveland Cavaliers when he left Miami. Dude, he's been like the last 8 contracts has been, short-term deals with years extension. This is what Kevin Durant should have done, realizing that when he left the greatest situation in his career, the greatest scenario, the greatest environment in his career, the Golden State Warriors, who won a championship without him this past season, he should have known better than signing a long-term deal for that supermax money. He doesn't need the supermax money, man. This guy has money up the wazoo, up his ass. All right. He also has a lot of ventures, but he wanted a supermax money, and he wanted to, of course, prove to the world that you know that he's a sensitive individual. He's very sensitive because he reacts to everybody in social media, including a 15-year-old kid who comments on his page. He'll go back at him, but wanted to prove that he could win one on his own with his own team, build his own team. So again, he went to New Jersey, recruited Kyrie Irving, his homie, Space Cadet Kyrie is what I like to call him. And they traded last year for James Harden, gave a whole bunch of stuff. This year they traded James Harden. I mean, it's been a complete dumpster fire. I mean, they got eliminated a couple of years ago by the world champs Milwaukee Bucks, and it was a great series. Kevin Durant played out of his world, but not enough. Okay, and this is the history of the Nets, when the history of Kyrie Irving's teammates, except for LeBron James. It's never enough with Kyrie around. All right. Then James Harden comes and they just get completely bum rushed out of the playoffs. And look, it is what it is. Okay. Kevin Durant should have stayed with the Golden State Warriors. And he realizes that, especially after this year, for the first time in a very long time, I think in his career, he had a very, very below performance in the playoffs, in the postseason, which is very unlike Kevin Durant. And we know this year the Nets started like a house of fire. Kevin Durant was the MVP. They didn't have Kyrie, but they didn't need Kyrie at that point. But the injuries take place. He had an Achilles tendon injury that has really derailed his career. Got hurt this year, broken foot. Things is going to start to pile up. I think Kevin Durant right now is 33 years old, and we're going to see what the deal is. So Kevin Durant saw the writing on the wall after the season ended, requested a trade. Just to give you a little backstory, like everybody really doesn't know this, but they do. But again, with the way Rudy Gobert's trade went down, what do you think the Nets were going to expect for Kevin Durant? Trust me, they were going to expect the world. And why wouldn't they when they hold all the leverage? They should have. Now, yesterday, the Nets announced on a statement that Kevin Durant was not going anywhere. Him and his agent agreed with the top brass of the Nets, and they were going to go ahead and refocus their efforts and continue their partnership, and in order to achieve the same goal they set out to be when he was signing free agency a few years ago, which is to bring a championship to Brooklyn. What the hell you think they're going to say after every single trade offer that probably was given to the Nets was not enough? And I'm going to break down some of the rumor trades that were offered for Kevin Durant and give you my take on what I think the Nets wanted for Kevin Durant. I mean, seriously, it's crazy. It's really crazy. So this signifies kind of a win against the empower entitled generation, the sensitive generation that Kevin Durant leads very well. And of like, when things don't go my way, I want to get traded. I don't care if I'm on the contract. It's a job that I signed up to do, but I don't want to fulfill my job. Get me out of my contract and get me out. In other words, let me take my bat and go home, and the game is over. Kind of mentality. It was a win against the entitled mentality, pretty much. So the Nets kind of lay the slap down on Kevin Durant's wishes. And, because this day and age, superstars, when things don't go their way, regardless of term, deal, contract, they're requesting trades and they're forcing themselves out of the team that they signed up to play with. And it's becoming a trend. It is happening all over the NFL as players will not show up to training camp. No different in the NBA. So, with that being said, it did not happen for Kevin Durant, and he's going to have to stay in the Nets in Brooklyn for at least one more year. Everybody's peachy right now. Everybody's singing kumbaya. Everybody's happy until next season when the Nets don't have a deep run in the playoffs and we're back to square one. Until next season when Kyrie Irving disappears again. We don't know from what. It's going to be either going to be an injury or it's going to be a personal issue or a mental health issue that's going to get Kyrie out of there. He's not going to play for at least 30 to 40 games next season. Something's going to happen to Kyrie from that matter because that's the way Kyrie is. Kyrie's best ability is his game, but the worst ability he has is his unavailability to play, 60 games at least? You can't even get 60 games out of Kyrie if you look at his numbers from the last 4 years. Until that happens and Kevin Durant is carrying all that load on his shoulders, on his back, alongside no jump shot Ben Simmons, which actually Ben Simmons is going to work well with KD because he's going to handle a lot of the ball and rebound and play some defense and kick out because he ain't going to shoot. But when he's seeing all that happening around himself, the trade rumors, the little trade rumor is going to pop out his little head because Kevin Durant is not happy with Kyrie. Kevin Durant is not happy with the team. Kevin Durant is tired, man. Kevin Durant should have never left Golden State, and we would not be having this conversation. He'll be leading probably one of the greatest dynasty in the history of the NBA, probably next to the Jordan Bulls and the Celtics. The Bill Russell, rest in peace, Bill Celtics. Okay, so with that being said, Nets got Kevin Durant for at least one more year. So, what kind of package you think was the Nets were offered? Honestly, some examples. There were some rumors, right? Like the Boston Celtics, kind of like offered Jaylen Brown and Derek White, probably alongside with some other players, and a package of like maybe 4 first-round picks back in July. No dice. Even as good of a player Jaylen Brown is, man, that was not enough. It wasn't juicy enough for the Nets. All right, for the Nets to bite, all right, and take the bait. Grizzlies, supposedly they were not willing to part ways with Jaren Jackson Jr. or Desmond Bane. And they were okay with trading a package around draft picks. Memphis Also, they said that it was rumored to offer around like 5 first-round picks for Kevin Durant, which 4 of them were unprotected. And it included players like Brandon Clark and Zaire Williams. Not enough for Kevin Durant. I think there was another rumor that the Knicks early July were going to offer Mitch Robinson, I think, and Fournier or somebody to that matter with like four or five first-round picks. All right. So none of that worked because Kevin Durant is back. Kevin Durant saw that he could not get out of because guess what? The Nets have the leverage. He's under contract. It is what it is. So therefore, the Nets were looking big. The Nets wanted something huge in return for Kevin Durant. Not just a bounty of picks, which is more like 4 or 5, but also a combination of superstars. They did not want role players back. They wanted 2 or 3 at least one superstar with probably a couple of all-stars. So therefore, that wasn't popping. Miami wasn't probably not willing to give Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero with 5 first-round picks. Probably not. I don't think Memphis Grizzlies would have with Jaren Jackson and probably John Morant and 4 draft picks. No. And you know what? If I'm the Nets, I got this guy on the contract. So if I'm going to get rid of one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA, all right, this guy is a Hall of Famer, and when it's all said and done, it's going to be one of the top scoring players. He's a unicorn, 7 feet, that can shoot the J, hit the 3, handle the ball. He is the man who made LeBron his baby. He's LeBron's daddy in the playoffs. Okay, in the Golden State years. Why not ask for the world? Return on your investment, boys and girls. All right, they signed Kevin Durant, so if they're gonna sell him, they're gonna get the return on investment capital that market is giving. All right, that the market value is, and right now Kevin Durant probably has the biggest market value at age 33 with a couple of years of being with injuries in the past couple of years than any player, even with those injuries, than any player in the NBA. It is what it is. So therefore, that right there is what you were looking at, and it did not click for the Nets. Nets were not hell no. I don't care. You gotta have to give me the world, all right, and the keys to the city for Kevin Durant. Look, let's be real. Kevin Durant will never win a ring with Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving. All right, it is what it is. He's not gonna win a ring with Kyrie, who plays like 40 games a year, whether it's injury, like I mentioned earlier, or head drama that keeps him out of the lineup. It doesn't matter. It is something's going to come up with Kyrie that will keep him out of the lineup. So he won't win a chip with Kyrie. Ben Simmons, we know what he did with Philly in the playoffs. The man evaporates, all right, like boiling water when the heat is turned up. Okay? He can't make it in the playoffs. He's afraid to take a 5-foot jump shot, ladies and gentlemen. Great talent, can do a lot of things, but in the playoffs, you gotta make sure you hit an open jump shot, even if it's just 10, 15 feet. So even with all the pieces around him, Joe Harris, Seth Curry, although the great players they have, it's not gonna be enough. Something always comes up with the Nets. It's a shame. Again, Kevin Durant should have stayed with the Golden State Warriors. All right, cash in his chips. And with that being said, we'll see until next year when the drama rears its ugly little head all over again. This whole generation of players trying to force themselves out of contracts because they're not happy when things don't go their way. There needs to be a stop to it to a certain level. I understand if the player's in a situation that it's unfair, it's something that they were lied to, that they were in a way giving options that were not there after they signed the contract. There has to be clauses that you could get out of your contract that is damaging your well-being, your health. I guess your years of playing. It's going to damage or minimize the amount of years of playing based on the contract in this scenario, but not because you can't win in the playoffs. Not because you're unhappy with your teammates and you're unhappy with Kyrie, which you, by the way, you recruited him. Not because of that. I, these players, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and everybody else, they're all grown men, dude. They're getting paid millions and millions of dollars, man, for a game that you and I go out right now at 44 years old and myself, who tore an ACL playing pickup basketball 2 years ago, go out there and shoot hoops and plays recreationally because he loves it. They're playing a game, man, that we have fun playing, and they're getting paid millions of dollars. It's a fucking game, and it's still not enough to get paid that much money. And at the end of the day, they still complain and they're still not happy. Win, a big win for the individuals who are against entitlement, okay, in this new day and age. It is what it is. Your boy E-Man signing out. Peace.